Hello everybody, this is Ryushi Kaze from thelivestream.net, joined by Tifabelle and Satsu. We have just left Costa del Sol and are wandering around the world map, so let's take this time to ask Satsu about when was the first time you played Final Fantasy VII?
Oh god, it was, I don't know, about 10 years ago. Back then I didn't really, appreciate all the what it was like. I mean, back then I was I was barely a kid, you know? Just playing through it, I just went through the motions, these stats, hit here, get this materia, go through the story. I mean, back then I didn't even understand what the story was about, to be honest. I had to go back on it and just look through all the new things that I hadn't seen before, because that just gave me a new perspective later on. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to going through this, in a new light.
Excellent.
Now that I'm 19 and much smarter than I was when I played it first.
And Tifabelle, when was the first time you played the game?
When it first came out, so I was probably 13 or 14, right before I started high school. And, but the same thing, when I first played through, I didn't understand a lot of the plot line. And, even this part, when they're talking about the black-cloaked guys, and I didn't really understand what they were until much later.
Yeah.
I never had an issue with that my first time, but then again, I was one of those kids who, tore into Tolkien when he was, I actually read Tolkien before I played Final Fantasy VII, so this was, lightweight stuff. And, granted, now English degree, so...
Yeah.
Oh, that was an interesting hop there, Pixel. I'm sure that was basically... No. That was him cutting out a side trip that he made to pick something up that he just decided was really dull. Like what? No, he, Okay, that one was intentional. I put on my robe and wizard staff.
Now, Satsu, has it been a while since you've played the game?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it has. I don't... Usually games this long, I don't tend to make a habit of playing more than once or twice at most, because I remember putting a lot of hours into this, and when I finished playing it, I was like, wow, I just need to get my head around it. But then, I never got around to getting my head about it, because there was just so much stuff, and, one thing led to another, it just went out of my mind, left my mind, and I moved on later to, playing FF8 and other things. But yeah, when I come back to, watching these sorts of things, it's amazing to see how much, effort they put into this, and it's actually a lot deeper if you really try to spend some time thinking about the finer points of, say, the dialogue or the gameplay, even the mini games,
Just trying to find out
a whole lot of
little
different
nooks
things.
And crannies.
Yeah, exactly. So that and by the end of it, even when watching for the past few LPs, there's a lot that I really didn't notice before, and I think that's the beauty of these sorts of videos and commentaries, that they point out things that you don't really usually see, if you just played through once when you were a kid, or
Yeah. Well, you definitely, each time that I play, I always pick up something new. And I like watching the LPs and listening to other people, because they notice things and that I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
The infamous... Well, no, because he didn't have both of them
No!
here, so...
Pixel fails! He didn't bring Tifa with him.
Yeah, you need the both of them for this to really be excellent. Baby
Take the
chocobos.
treasure. Oh, he's so nice. Cloud, your hair looks like a chocobo.
Of course they would mistake you for their mother. It looks exactly like them. Oh, we just missed a battle. I've gotten very good at seeing where he's edited things out. Oh, there's another one. It's tiny little jump cuts, but they're obvious if you know what you're looking for. Tons of little hidden things that you'd never even think just would be there. Because there's nothing on the map to indicate them. You just have to just start poking around. It's actually something I miss in some of the more recent ones, because you've got the full, fully controllable camera. It's hard to make, truly hidden areas.
Yeah. A lot of, I think it was mostly, it was a way to sort of get over that limitation of, fixed camera, moving camera sort of thing. And it comes, and when I went to FF8 and the later ones, where they, they had a lot of three-dimensional cameras. I don't know. I guess it was sort of it felt more open in some ways,
Yeah.
Especially especially when it comes to hiding things and Easter eggs and everything. There's a lot more. You can still put a lot more effort into making just these little hidden gems without having this set 2D background that you just move around in.
North Corel, or Corel, the father of Superman.
Oh, God.
Oh, poor Barret.
That's the traditional coral green of happiness.
Yeah.
In my native land, we punch people to say we happy. Where the hell are you from originally? It does not matter. I punch people. I don't remember.
As long as the punching happens.
Actually, it's kind of not his fault North Corel turned into a garbage heap. It's kind of his fault that North Corel exists in the first place.
I was sort of confused by the first line where originally I thought, oh, he punched him in the shoulder, like some sort of manly greeting, but now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, actually they pretty much hate his guts. Okay.
It's because he's black.
Yeah.
But I don't really see why it's his fault anyway. I mean, I know he was the one that kind of, I guess, convinced them, but I don't know. I just always feel bad about it.
He was pro-Reactor and pro-Shinra back in the day. Everybody believes that Shinra was responsible for everything fucking up, and they kind of really are, but original Avalanches too.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's one of those cases where he just, he takes responsibility for something that honestly he shouldn't have, wasn't anything he could have foreseen.
Right.
So, so he spends half his time blaming Shinra and the other half blaming himself, basically.
Right.
Come on, actually buy something, Pixel, man. So
I know,
stupid.
right? Wait, how much gil did he have?
Oh, he has a lot of gil. He's been grinding.
Why would you... He's probably saving up for some huge end game thing.
Yeah, well...
That's the other thing. I never made a habit of grinding in this game for anything at all. So I had a respectable amount of gil, but I didn't make a point of saying, oh, I need this much gil and I need so I can get this item, and I just wanted to finish the game.
Well, it's very, very easy to gil grind without even putting effort into it. Especially late in the game with, once you get the W materia. Oh dear, the W item. I've got 2, no, I've got 3, no, wait, hold on. Yes, that's 99 mega elixirs. I'd like to sell, 97 mega elixirs. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'd like to sell 97 mega elixirs. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Goodness.
That's another thing about, totally rested there, Pixel. Stop lying to us. But no, that's another thing about the mid, the 2D, 3D transitional games like 7, 8, and 9. The strange bits of walkable terrain, like that sign is actually the stairs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I was just about to say, because it's a way of putting detail into something while still it just gives it a lot of flavor, but at the same time it really depends on like how accessible you want it to be. Because I remember going through some of the places in FF7, and back then I honestly got stuck in some places because I thought some bits of the terrain were inaccessible, where they actually were like a ramp to the next stage of that area. I mean, it's not so much obvious in Corel, but especially like in some other places, I just got stuck, and it's one of those cases where I just go to the walkthrough and just see where I go, and then I go back and like, oh wait, that area I can walk up. Damn.
Well, that happened, and I remember Tenny talking about that one spot in Midgar with like the crane, and you can't like figure out where you're supposed to go. That was like, I remember getting stuck on that part for quite a while. But even like FF9 had a couple of those spots too, where I didn't know where I was supposed to go.
It was a bit better about it though, because they learned from 2 previous, games.
Yeah.
And they made the transition to full 3D, which was 3D characters on 3D background instead of the pre-rendered. And that gave us a mix of static and adjustable camera.
But see, now the village headmaster, or whatever his name was, he just said the only one that is against the Mako Reactor is Din, or Dyne, however you decide to... Okay, Dyne.
Yeah, but Barrett's the one who, convinced everyone. He was the one who was all for it from the beginning, so that's why he's the one
he suffers the most. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I was recording for the audiobook, I got to really know like the sort of problems Dyne had gone through, and just looking back on what he had to say, it was like it really brought everything just really like brought him down to what he became by the end, like at the end of the confrontation between him and Barret.
This is a really weird juxtaposition here. I mean, this story right before Gold Saucer. This game loves to fuck with you. It's, the biggest fuck yous are coming up later, but this is sort of playing it, pulling at your heartstrings and then going, Disney World.
Yeah. God, it's crazy.
We were all set on fire by them too. Let's see. Hometown Cloud, Tifa, hometown burned by Shinra. Barret, hometown burned by Shinra. Yuffie.
Yeah,
home
Shinra has a
country,
pretty...
war, ravaged, and occupied by Shinra. Red...
Yeah,
captured...
Shinra has a pretty common
Yeah.
modus operandi.
There's nothing at his home to burn. Aerith, her home is too cold to burn.
Yeah.
That's the only reason those two weren't set on fire. However, Wutai did burn during the Wutai War.
Oh, see, I don't remember that line by Yuffie.
Yeah. And besides, I wouldn't think anyone would actually reach that sort of conclusion, knowing the context in which, Yuffie joined their party.
Yeah. Oh, there's a great visual error coming up, but that's going to be in the next video at this point, so...
Yay!
We'll see you on there, folks!